Yes, indeed, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, South, South, Central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web. A pleasant good day to you. Yes, this is, of course, the Tuesday edition of the Corridor Transformation. Last night, of course, we had of necessity to record or to be in the presence of the UNC Monday Night Forum, which I understand will be a continuous, let's say, feature of the UNC and therefore the government of Trinidad and Tobago. UNC here, as part and parcel of the UNC coalition of interests, have to be, of course, as specific as possible. But indeed, of course, we were treated with a number of issues that I think we can explore tonight because of the fact that there's so much misinformation, disinformation, and let's face it, the only people to benefit from their trolls will lap it up as if they are on steroids, will be, of course, the PNM and its propaganda machinery. Of course, we know that it has failed miserably. We know that, of course, they will not stop, however, trying. They will not stop trying. Because, of course, they believe, as any person who is ambitious, I'm saying here, ambitious in a positive way, but in the case of the PNM, we'll call ambition is a negative thing, because they want to get into office to do what? To do us evil. So while of course one can say that tenacity and grit and determination is a good quality generally of any human being, necessity being the mother of invention, but one has to be very careful when it comes, of course, to the PNM. They want to get into government merely, of course, to take some kind of illusionary revenge, and they do so, of course, with brutal precision and heartless consideration. But let's go to the line. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor. Welcome to the corridor. Hello? Hello? Welcome to the corridor. I call back caller. I failed to engage, of course, the WhatsApp on the system. So maybe we'll get you on the system and have a better, of course, reception. But that being as it may, I would like, of course, for people to tell me what you gleaned from last night's exercise. We learned, of course, that in the case of the so-called concocted storm in a teacup brew by the PNM propaganda machinery, we learned that, of course, there is an additional 33 companies. Hello? All right. 33 companies that have been delisted have not filed their return, their annual return, and therefore effectively does not exist. We know that. I'm hearing something that I think is awkward. Something that is awkward does that. Let me see. All right. Yes. We learned that, of course, as far as the CPEP contractors are concerned. And we told them that. We kept a whole press conference to tell the contractors, and worse yet, the employees who would have been depending on these contractors via the CPEP arrangement to simply stay calm. Do not be lured by the agitations and the self-serving agenda of the PNM, claiming to be a new PNM under Penelope Beckles. Now you have opened, of course, not just a can, but a whole drum of worms. And many of them, or most of them, will feel the pain in terms of their companies moving forward, being able to attract any private or public contracts. That is what Penny and them did to these contractors. And they should, of course, Penny and they I'm talking about should be paying for that because they set up the contractors. But let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Good night, Professor.
Good night, my friend.
This is the Martin inside, and you know I see the worms coming
Yes.
according to Saddam, and he identified a contractor who I think he called it Aryan marketing, etc., and sector. All right,
Yes.
and that person had a name like Peter and had a surname like I have a maybe named Michael the Archangel and
Yes.
like Lackey's the bread maker. No, doing my little research. You know, I like to do my little research. In 2014,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that person is the same fella who was fined $3,000 by a magistrate for drunk driving. All right, that Peter, the Michael the Archangel, the Lackey's fella. And failing that, the judge said, well, he got him a 10 months imprisonment. No. When he went to the judge or the magistrate, or I think in like the police, he had a discussion with the police. He apparently telling the police, you don't know who me or I was taking out a drink with vodka thing and I was living with my brethren, Damien. And all you know Damien. Damien have a somewhere they get cheap 38 ammunition somewhere down in South. I think he and Type Back his partner.
All right.
You see, he was living with Damien and the son of the biggest contractor in Trinidad and Tobago, a fella Junior, fevers and all kind of thing. So the magistrates tell him, hey, anybody could have serious consequences. What are you doing? No. He tell the magistrate and the police, well, you don't know I am the owner of Standards. So if he is a 1% owning Standard, I am now asking, are these owners CPEP contractors now? Or is Standard being diversified into painting stones and cutting grass? That is one of the candles of the room. And I suspect a number of, you see that those 32 people who got contracts for all kind of 5 and 6 years, then it tells you you have to do the EF seal protocol. If you have problems with the contractor, you have to shut down everything. But you have 12,000 people supposedly on the bread line. You have to shut it down and come back again with a clean operation. So I'm looking for, as Saddam saying, let me bring the lawsuit. You open more can of worms. No. My beef is with the Police Service commissioners. The appointed PNM Police Service Commissioner. I think the chairman is KCR best friend somewhere, they living together close by. I think they have done a disservice to this country. I think their action facilitates crime. And why I'm saying that? They have appointed a police commissioner basically endorsed by the government with his hands tied. Why I'm saying this is time? They have given him the same useless executive.
Caller, hold on. We have another caller on the line. He's wrapping up now. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah. They give him a police service that is an executive is tainted. So
Yes.
he will struggle to move. So that's why I'm saying they're facilitating crime and they want crime to continue. They're supposed to remove the executive, give him a fresh executive, and we move on. And the last piece of bombshell, in 2014, Penny, brother, the big one, the big brother, was charged with ammunition, guns, and things. I wonder where that case gone. That was another missing files or what? I go on, have a nice night.
Thank you. Yes, indeed. Yes. Go ahead, caller. Sir San Fernando? We lost that one. Of course, remember, we don't have a call waiting system, so you would appreciate it. And of course, some people are saying, well, this handset thing seems unprofessional, etc. I agree, but of course, improvisation to me is where necessity is concerned. Once you can improvise, because the information has to get out there, I will risk, of course, being criticized for so being, until, of course, we are able to remedy the situation here in studio. That being as it may, let me reiterate again some of the features that was enunciated by the Prime Minister, and indeed, of course, some of the presenters at last night's forum. And of course, Munilal said that things are looking up in terms of the increase in gas production. And let me say categorically that I believe him. But because the proof is there. But when the PLM speaks about increase and optimism like we had for years as far as the dragon gas is concerned, and when they were told, well, whether or not Trump becoming president will affect the progress of the dragon gas, they literally told us no. And when, of course, there were sanctions, they told us no. And Maduro, being himself, of course, a fugitive of American justice, they said no, and they had over 17 visits according to the public records of Stuart going there to get an elusive product. And what is most despicable, and for which they have not yet, I see that Penelope Beckers have, of course, apologized blatantly and without reservation. Of course, too late. Too late. It's not even a good start. Too late. But Stuart Young and the Rowley have not apologized to this country for the kind of money that was spent. You see, I am particularly concerned about that matter because, and as a consequence of the recent decision by the courts to have, or put another way, to have adjudicated that Patriotic has to pay or is owing $4 million US, because that is what part of that was borrowed, or that was borrowed to pursue, of course, the acquisition of the oil refinery that Rowley and they promised them off the cuff with no strings attached, unsolicited, and then, of course, eventually taken away. No different, of course, to the what? To the case of no property tax, but yet still property tax when they got into government. No subsidies, but subsidies when they get into government. And if we didn't kick the tail out of office on the 28th of April, they would have, of course, implemented not only those continue to implement those taxes, but also, of course, give us increase in electricity, water, and we can go on and on. We don't know where it would have stopped. But let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Hey, good night, Lennox. Ken.
Good night, my friend.
Yeah, I'm in Indiana here loading. I say I'm strong in a dock here loading. So let me give you a
All
call.
right, my
I'm
friend.
loading
Well done. It's the only place to be, and the only good thing you can do at this point in time, this period.
Yeah, I load it right now. So we're up in Indianapolis. I load it. I load it right now.
Yes.
I listened to the forum last night, and it's very, very good.
Yes, I agree with you.
And I heard what I'm saying to you is that I heard somebody on the chat, not on your chat, but on social media. The lady is talking about how she only talking about the alcohol and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, the age adjustments.
Right. But she
Yes.
wasn't talking about that. We're talking about the 10% that she promised the government worker about the 10%, and she's not talking about that.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, she's not talking about the
And
10%. Yeah.
no, she didn't bring that forward to talk about. I'm talking about somebody in social media. And
Well,
something like that.
but I hold no brief for the government. The government does what it feels is necessary or best for the population. But of course, I want to just say to that there are more forums to come. I don't talk, but go ahead.
Yeah, I understand, but they think that everything happened in very quick, and they just take government about 3 months ago, right? They expected things to happen everything that one time. But
I mean, and it is so foolish.
Right.
Not that
was there. They wasn't saying anything.
Yeah, all of them who are talking. I want to know if they have their own house and they build their own house, whether it was done in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's all I want to know, or 2 months. But go ahead.
Yeah, it like cat cut the tongue. So at the time when it was with B&M, they wasn't saying anything. Now they have a lot to say. Or she was doing it, she's not doing that, but everything takes time. Everything will fall into place. Yeah, Mr. Lennox. So
yeah,
that was a very, very good suggestion. But I know Andy was arguing about 25. That is very.
Now that's a non-argument. That's a non-argument.
That's not an argument because over here is consent. Is 21 years and above. Then you could win a bond by even cigarette is 18.
Yeah,
right?
Adjustments were made and that's it.
Yeah, that's what it's
that was necessary.
So,
or contributing to the reduction. But that's the intent: the reduction or the sort of making sure that the problem does not exacerbate, is not much more intense in terms of the other social issues. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but Lennox, there was not talking about this now. And maybe I misunderstand, or maybe I don't hear. I was this morning. I was
all right.
Wrong report. If over here they catch anybody selling a minor alcohol under 21 age, it's a big fine. You know what I'm saying? Anybody catching alcohol 20 underage, you have a problem. You know?
All right.
Lennox, you hear me? Yeah.
All right.
You hear me, Lennox?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's what I have here. But and earlier they were saying now, somebody else going to buy it and all kind of stuff. Yes, it happens. But when you get caught, you get caught. When anybody get caught selling, especially selling alcohol, big fine. You know what I mean?
Contrary to the law.
That's what I imply.
Yeah.
Because that is the safety of young people drinking alcohol and cannot handle this situation. You know what I mean? Drinking and driving, getting all disorderly, and all this kind of thing. You know? So we don't have that too much yet. It does have it, but so
all right.
Anyway, Lennox, I don't keep you back or anybody out there.
All right, partners. Thanks very much, of course, for that intervention. Yes, right. Indeed. But of course, quite a lot of issues were raised last night. So the adjustment of age for alcohol and of course for the consumption of things like marijuana. Yes, the consumption of that. And there's another major chemical, tobacco as well. Yes. So we see the direction in which this government is going, all of which will focus on the reduction in some of the what I consider the subterranean social issues that we are plagued with, whether it's crime, whether it's school violence, whether it's delinquency, whether the unraveling of families, whether the disintegration of relations, one to another, whether of course there are situations within institutions that generate, of course, the level of animosity, and it is assumed that many of these drugs would have affected people's mental stability, and so of course they act in a particular way that is detrimental overall to the society. Caller, of course, that was calling, I was getting the number on my handset, but I want to get it on the system. So if you can call back, I will accommodate. But certainly last night was an eye opener. Let's see if we can go there now. All right, this caller normally, I don't know why, but this caller doesn't get onto the system. So let me just take this one from here. Professor, good night. Welcome.
Hey, Lennox, good night.
Good night, my friend.
You hear me good?
Loud and clear.
Right, there are two contributions to me. But let me
Go
make
ahead.
the first one. This government working so fast.
Yeah.
You're working faster than our resource wise. They had, remember they talk about pharmaceuticals?
Yeah.
Right. They had a drug used to come from India here. People that use for asthma and all these things, right? It used to be $28 a bottle.
Okay.
And since them come in power, that drug disappeared. That used to come from India.
Okay.
And you had to buy a next drug for $173.
Yeah.
You imagine that? Well, I went by V drugstore today. You know, when I say V drugstore, you know
Yes. I'm familiar with that drugstore. Go ahead.
Good. Think about the drug already.
Huh?
For $28, yes.
All right.
For $28, I can tell you the speed.
Okay.
And the lack of Jesus government will give it.
Yeah.
The next thing I want to say, you saw Donald Trump get in trouble over there with them. He fight hard to clean up this swamp, and he clean it up there. And he hold it on when they come back at him. You know, we government up against here, you know?
Yeah.
It's a similar thing like this swamp, you know?
Yeah.
Similar thing like this swamp.
Yes.
Everybody here, judiciary, whoever,
Yeah.
everybody belong to a lodge.
Yeah, man.
And this is where the problem coming from.
All right.
I went to a funeral in Tobago some years ago. When I go to the funeral, I see what good ask the next man who I went to stay by. I say, he said, I say, what? He said, the only man here not in lodge is you. I said, if I did my partner, then I never know he was in a lodge.
I hear you.
Right? So the lawyers over here, all of them had a little signal. Depending on which magistrate you're going up against,
Right.
you just find out.
I hear you.
You hear me?
Yeah.
But you must be familiar with that?
Yeah. Tricks in the trade.
Yes. And the city magistrate, you will sign with the finger, well, we in the same lodge.
I hear you.
That is 95% of the case they don't win there already.
I hear you, my friend.
You understand? I don't know about UNC lawyers. If they're in lodge, which I don't. This is why even when you win the case, you have to end up in the Privy Council.
All right.
So this swamp, the same swamp we against here by the lot. With these freebies and lodge and all this.
All right.
Forever life.
All right.
And that's what we're going to show that.
Yeah, man.
You could imagine right now. I see Marvin going cars and them clamoring.
Right.
I want to work camera and them doing what crying.
Right.
You can believe that?
Yes.
You hear me, boy?
Yeah. Go ahead, but there are other people who want to get in and a little noise outside. Yeah.
Let them whole straight, I know, come on.
All right.
10 years and they ain't done what crime. Now they're talking about you want to work camera when I do what crime.
Yeah, mad people, they have failed miserably, record murders year after year, every successive year, beat the year before, but they continue, of course, to talk this madness now that they're in opposition.
But Lennox, from 2010 to 2025, they
Yes.
keep on talking camera,
Yeah,
right? So if you can open the TV
yeah,
and pull on camera, you're not doing it, you know?
yeah,
If you can open the TV and pull on camera,
right,
you're not doing that for self-help. If them run over, man.
yeah.
I mean, let somebody else call. But
All right.
I just give you the general gist.
Okay, I get you, my friend. All right, yes. Mr. San Fernando, are you there? All right, okay, so we lost that one. Calling, as I said, we don't have a waiting system, but when one is on the WhatsApp, it appears that the person who is calling simultaneously, I'm hearing them on the handset, but I prefer you are on the system so that we have a better conversation. Right? There's a disturbance outside in terms of noise, so you may see that I may be struggling to understand what some of you are saying, or some of what you are saying, but that is because of that. So it's not that I am out of it totally, but it is, I'm struggling to, of course, hear, because I don't want to stop the guys from playing the music, but you'll have to find ways and means of making sure that we live together, so to speak. They play the music, whilst, of course, we doing, of course, the work of the society to benefit them, so that they can continue, of course, to play their music, but do so with the peace and the lack of violence and the economic advancement that we of necessity must pursue, in order that everyone have a higher quality of life and standard of living that we are aspiring so to do. Yes, indeed. Well, I see another one coming up. Let me see if I can get it on the system. Let's see. On the system, please. Come on the system, please. I'm not getting it on the system. All right, I'll have to take it here. I have to take it here. I have no choice. I don't know what has happened. Pleasant good night. Welcome. Pleasant good night. Welcome.
Good night to you, Uncle Lennox, and
Yeah.
to your listeners.
Yes, good night to you.
And sundry.
Yes.
Share the life. People, we need the 40,000. We need the 40,000. We need to move up. And if you have 4.25 cents from the long time days, and you have nothing to do with it, you can drop it by Uncle Lennox Twitter.
Yes. I assure you, we need it badly. I'm going to make some announcements tonight, and people will get a better appreciation as to why we need the little kakada, so to speak. But go ahead.
Wait, boy, Uncle Lennox.
Hey.
You see why I stop calling you? Every time I talk, it's something you go and say. Hey, boy. But anyway, I'll never see if you said this one too. Uncle Munilal, Roland Munilal,
Yeah.
get a settlement in court.
Yes.
Right? Against a talk show host, right? A journalist, for unseen circumstances that they went over the line, apparently. Right?
Okay.
So,
Well, if they get the settlement, what's the name of the talk shows?
I think it's something, some Davy or
Yeah. I know that matter was pending. Yeah, I know that was pending.
Yeah.
Julia Davy, yes.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
so- Right. So the matter, it make piece of the news. But what I want the listeners to do, share the live, because it's very important. Because where we now is not for rum, is report now. We stop drinking rum. We move the age. We want to move the age from 18 to 21. And Uncle Lennox, You see how sick society is?
Yeah.
The business community checking that 3 years gap of customers, right, will affect their profit line.
Yeah.
And they're not watching the social and the economic and the family life is destroyed. Because I will tell you plain, I am in that same, I want to cuss, Uncle Lennox.
I hear you.
Drive home my point. But in that same finishing line, right? Because the young man know rum more than anything else, right? And to see that the bar owners and them and the business community, yes, all they are there to do business. Because when they move to 21, that population, that group, that consumption group will cut, right? So all they're not thinking about when I young fella, who 18 years and have a woman to mind, the breaching, right? A beverages, look at the price of a beverage. Look where what is the minimum wage? Look where you hardly get to work. And when you go to relax your stress and then deadbeat and then they say, right? You have to release the stress and take a little thing with the boys and them.
Yeah.
Right? When you go home, that is less money to mind your child. And plenty of them will realize, before they breed your man, the young girl, $100 when they live in bachelor in your mother house and they're sleeping on the bed and you get like everything paid, $100 in your pocket is plenty. But when you have to feed an extra amount, and then when the child comes, they want to know how a newborn child is the ultimate eating machine for 1 year. So they get frustrated because why? The $100 no longer have value in the pocket. So we see that the PNM for the last 70 years of power and existence, they mash up a whole ethnicity group, mislead them, take away their identity, family values. They just keep repeating that when a fella reaches a certain age, he make a child with a woman, he make an next child, and they go on the squat on a piece of land. That is the way of life. So when will it be, and who will want to hold the bull by the horn? The same thing at the age of 18, the gambling with the play with machine, right? No underage 18 can't go by the machine. So when you move it to 25, what stupid is society talking about? I don't understand them. You talking about, you seeing that they give them 4 marijuana tree and 30 grams, but they have it all over the public, which is supposed to consume it in the privacy of the home.
Yeah.
And then they call it to legalize it. You have to put it in a certain rules and regulation before you give them the open market. But nobody is talking about pepper spray coming in, and you can go to the station and apply for your permit to own pepper spray. And that the consultation for the budget, if you have any problem, look and get your member of parliament or your councillor, right? Or and in the case like you, they can get in touch with you and start gathering what they want on the budget and what grievance they have to settle for the government to settle. So they will get the allocation. These are things we're supposed to be talking. You're talking about that age group. Then you're seeing that the PNM, their fleet office, money missing, money unaccounted for. Then you see the friend, the family, appointed to get contract, which is misbehaving in public office, and then you don't know turn it and say, them is human too. Them is human too. Them is people, them entitlement, is citizen. But you see, when they do it the wrong way and not the right way, they're talking about CPAP workers. CPAP workers have lost work, and how much thousand people is vulnerable. But at least they're talking about that, talk the right way. Because you can see a mother of 70 getting $1,400, right? So what they're buying, Quicks biscuit advertising for Quicks, and they're grinding it with some sugar and throwing it in water for them to drink. What kind of stupidness are they coming with? And European work is minimum, they raise the minimum wage for the European people. They're still paying them all time dinosaur pay. How they could be twisting so? But I want Penelope Beckles and she 12, the Dosna them, to understand that the UNC, right, ain't looking for popularity vote again. They're looking to serve the people and make the life and the future better. Because Baldwin don't claim that the violence in school is the PNM children. What the PNM doing about it? Yeah? So you see, but they want to put a racial twist to it. And then Scotland and them come and the gaslighted and blabbing them out for political gain. Yeah? But have to wait till the next 5 years. And here what's going on. Last night, the political leader said the internal election for a political leader is up for taking. So all they can go you can come over to the UNC and find a nomination. Or they could come for the leadership of the UNC too. Or they welcome. That is to tell you how open the UNC is. But you see, when my Prime Minister set out to serve the people and to do the right things for all the citizens, all they look about those stupidness and try to mislead to say that all the blocking and covering up the ransom thief in the treasury. Because Chiotiong take a note of the cabinet saying it's 6 million, but it's 6 billion. I tell you on this program, ask Chiotiong where the gas, you hear Dodgson talk about it, you hear Ferenco talk about it, and the next go to the side, because you see, them brothers and them, I have a citizen, and I asked Chiotiong, for the last 10 years, the NGL stock, all they starve the company, all they take the money, and all they put a set of losses on the book. I want an investigation, because the same way they got in the Chatham Youth Camp, I want an investigation in the NGC, and now the Board of Heritage is appointed, and I want them to go through contract by contract for how much years, who was benefiting and what they was doing, and check the scope of work, Uncle Lennox, I feel this more important than talking that we're moving the age. Because if you have to move the age, then you bring out that a child you can marry a young girl at the age of 12, and a fella can get married at the age of 12. Because everybody have a problem. Eh? But yet still, society, right, when Stuart Young will come in power, and he say anything you do, it had the sedition law, and it had the treason law, and some other stupid law on the statutory book, if you talk against the TNM. Well, remember that? So here what's going on. The law is there to follow, and the spirit of the law is there to challenge. Have a pleasant good night.
Yeah, same to you, my friend. Same to you, my friend. Of course, quite a mouthful indeed. Quite a mouthful. Of course, in the background, we have, of course, the circle of destruction, which is the PNM, of course. And there are those who, of course, have self-sanitized. And it is always said that self-praise is no praise. Self-sanitized. So, of course, we had, as I said, Penelope Beckles, of course, making a categorical apology. Too little, too late. And, of course, the others are yet to apologize. Is that she alone? And to tell us it's a new PNM. Well, we heard that from Patrick Manning. We heard that from Rowley. So it is now what I consider to be tautology. I consider it to be repetitive. I consider it to be ad nauseum, sickening, that you could tell us is a new PNM, to use a cricketing term, my back foot. Yes, my back foot. Because they are on the back foot, utilizing the poor CPEP workers who are, of course, on a daily basis struggling to get employed with CPEP or elsewhere, or indeed with URP. And while, of course, we understand for communities such as East Port of Spain, Beetham, Sealats, and elsewhere on the East-West Corridor, that these make work programs mean sustenance. It means the difference between putting food on the table in some instances and no food at all. And so, of course, these programs were designed for that, quite apart from the existence of the Ministry of Social Development. But I want to tell you in all practicality, these programs, whilst they have a temporary amelioration to the issue of putting food on the table from these or those who see it as a form of temporary amelioration, it is important that we understand they don't depend on it. Dependency on it is a fallacy, and I'm going to explain that afterwards. A pleasant good night.
Lennox,
Hey.
you don't get trouble to hear me on the handset?
No, but tonight is a different one in that I don't have I already had a guy headphone 1 and 2. There's a little noise outside, music playing now.
Oh, you had to get a handset, yeah?
Yeah, I'm gonna get at this.
What Beckers apologize, and who she apologize to?
Yeah.
Beckers, she apologize to who? Who Beckers apologize to?
Oh, the nation, they said that the PNM went wrong. She said it, I think in Cuba, I believe, somewhere in Central, where she said that the PNM went wrong, they lost the way, quite apart from the first instance, but this one was much more elaborate. The party didn't listen, and so of course showing essentially Keith Christopher Corriley, Keith Christopher Corriley below the bus. You know, he's so bitter, but of course showing him below the bus so that she could now rise and believe that somehow she could get into the, let's say, where the air is rare, numero uno chair. But that and a pink donkey she will not see.
But that's the end of them, Lennox?
Yeah.
Is that what you do, that's the end of the PNM? You come and tell the people all they went wrong?
Yeah. When they had plenty time, remember we were saying, say it immediately, but the fact that you didn't say it immediately, too little, too late.
Well, them ain't going no place. Yes, we Prime Minister ain't taking on them.
Yeah. No, she taking them on.
We Prime Minister send Sean Sobers, Roger Alexander, and this boy to the Commonwealth Conference, right?
Yes. Then he come, well, the CARICOM conference, yes.
Right.
In Jamaica, yes.
Rowdy would have to go because he's the only one that some kind of sense.
Yeah.
And you will say he's the boss man, or you can go. But
Yeah.
I'm not point Sobers and all them fellas.
That's right.
Just so them fellas do the work. So she could afford to send them to represent the government,
That's right.
right? And imagine them asking she but the CCJ. Say I'm not against who people of the CCJ if they want that, but we retaining the Privy Council.
That's right.
And you know why? We just been case here and at the end of the Privy Council.
Yeah.
Them is a backside, you know. I can't believe it. 'Cause
No, you can't believe that them serious. They just talking for talking sake. Because they have a hole in the face.
And them is the UPNM and all.
After all these years. Yeah. All right, I have another caller coming in.
Yeah, all right, boy.
Yeah, okay. Let me just go to the next one. I call back. Call back. Sorry about that, people. Of course, I was talking to someone in studio here. You know, it happens from time to time. We have a little emergency that I had to address in the way that I did. But of course, that doesn't stop anybody from calling in. Of course, you can call in now. Yes, I'm having a little challenge with the handset. I'm having a challenge with the system itself. But we will find our way around. Let's go here because I'm not seeing it coming up on the system. So we have to make some adjustments there. All right, good, okay. Let me take this one. Pleasant good night. Welcome. Pleasant good night, Laventil. Go ahead. Laventil,
Yeah, good
you
night, Mr. Lennox. And good. Yes, I'm hearing you.
Go ahead.
Yes. Good night, Mr. Lennox, and good night to everybody who's on the live.
Yes.
You know, Mr. Lennox, listen. You know, the PNM really amazing. You know. You telling me these CPEP contractors, right? 326 of them. According to Saddam Hussein, 32 of them were struck off the registry list.
Yeah.
Right? So that going on for how long now? What, for the past 10 years? Right? So all that money, right? Just people just siphoning money like that out of the country just so easy money. Which is, you know, these people and them is not patriots, you know. These people and them come from the pits of hell, boy. How you do that to your own? You understand? I mean, oh God, I mean, the masses are basically poor people. It's very few, but probably 1, 2, or 3% of the population might be kind of well off, right? But the masses of them generally is people who go to work every day, you understand, and work for a little money and things like that, right? Oh God, you know, all is so greedy. Oh God, human nature is a nasty thing, boy. Oh God, boy, nah. Mr. Lennox, I don't know what to say, you know. But these people have no sense of uprightness and morality and character and thing, you know. Then don't have that, you know. All you're seeing is only greed. Just greed. The evil boy. Oh God, boy. Mr. Lennox,
It appears that they have a hole in the heart. Though they have a hole where the heart's supposed to be because they clearly are heartless. But let's go to the line. Pleasant good night, Mr. San Fernando. Go ahead.
Yeah, hello. I'm trying to get on for the longest one.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
You see, I think I've told you this before. These people, they're not shooting themselves in the foot anymore. The gun is turned in a different direction, right? Because you see, if you had to shoot yourself in the foot, you had to see your foot, right?
Yes.
But apparently the belly gets too big. So they can't shoot themselves in the foot. So they have to shoot themselves somewhere else.
Well, could it be that they have no feet at all? Because they shoot it off. They shoot them off, I should say. Well, let's see. Go ahead.
Yeah, but yesterday was a very good day, and last night was very good. But I want to tell you this.
Yes.
Right? No, the reason why I also say that the gun is turned in a different direction is because yesterday, while she going down to the penal, and we passing on the highway, after Golconda, going down somewhere down there when you reach where the university is.
Yeah.
Right, now, I was watching the area good, and then I saw like a stadia kind of thing. And then when I asked in the maxi taxi, what is that on the side? And somebody told me that was part of the thing with the university.
Okay, the university,
So,
the DB campus,
shame.
yes.
Huh?
The
So
DB
that's
campus,
a real
yeah.
shame because the whole thing going up in grass.
Okay.
So you see how the PNM have left that thing to abandon the whole.
Yeah, but it's not that alone. I mean, it is horrendous. It is despicable. It is appalling. It is unpatriotic. I mean, you can't find good adjectives to describe the egregiousness of that act, and just a waste of taxpayers' money when they could have easily spent a little more on them in order, of course, for us to be able to use it to today, and they could have gotten it for COVID as well if they were so minded, and if they were not as bad-minded as it turned out to be. But go ahead.
No, you see, the other thing I want to say is too that there was a clipping that was showed with that's the past Minister of Education, right? Where she was talking about the P&M children. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, P&M children.
No, you could have clearly seen. I saw the clip, that same clip about that was yesterday morning or day before yesterday morning.
Okay.
I click on YouTube and I was watching that same clip.
Okay.
Where she was talking about the crime and the treating of the children before the election. I think that clip was before the election, and she was talking about the P&M children.
Right.
And clearly, what she was doing is going to a certain base, but the base itself had nothing there. If you understand what I'm coming from.
Yes.
There was clearly nothing that she could have said. So the only thing the entire population, so the only way she could have turned to is to turn to that P&M base, which also had nothing in it. This is why 100,000 people turned against them.
Yeah.
You put the one coming from.
No, yeah, because I mean, you so stupefied. She was so, what I consider to be delusionary. That here it is, you can identify 100,000, and she said it as well. All of them recognize it. Penny, the former Minister of Education, etc. But the fact of the matter is, how the hell you could talk about P&M children? It shows a kind of myopia. It shows a kind of dunderheadedness, because the people left you because of that perception. The leadership of the party would have had Balize House, a corrupt piece of monstrosity that is now costing over $100 million after you say that your party was bankrupt in 2015. So them may know that, but let them continue. Let the fool continue in its ignorance, because at the end of the day, they will expedite, of course, their journey to the dustbin of political history in this country. Go ahead.
But as you talk about the Balize House also, right now it now comes to me also that a certain pastor, right, had talked something about where the UNC was owing P&M money, and they needed the money to finish Balize House.
Well, they ain't get it. They ain't get it. They ain't get it. But yet still, they were able, of course, to move from bankruptcy $5 million, because for sure the UNC ain't owing no $5 million. If they owing $1 million is plenty. So that is no excuse for the erection of that monstrosity at a time when you ask everybody else to belt tighten. But you have, of course, companies that you say would never be part and parcel of the construction of that monstrosity. In fact, being part of it, we saw Jusamco pouring concrete on the basement. The very company that caused the construction of that piece of the highway to Point Fortin that collapsed in the swamp below. So we know that they are liars, that they are corrupt, that they are evil, and they are raiders of the treasury of the country.
So there is no way, I think, that if the UNC government continue in the vein that it is going, I don't think that the P&M could really come back.
I agree with you, my friend. Of course, Mr. Faizabad, go ahead.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you much, Mr.
Your audio drop. The contribution of the caller on the line. Sorry to interrupt. Right, they come back on there.
All right, come back. All right. Oh, you just called to say that. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about the caller. Yeah.
All right. Okay then. Thanks. All right. So, so people, from time to time, of course, these unforeseen happens, and we could do nothing about it. Don't forget, of course, we conclude at 9:30. Don't forget as well that, of course, we have another program that we would be launching on Friday. again, part and parcel of our support for the present government. Remember, I told you that I will never make any intervention once the PNM is in office. And of course, I am right. I've been proven right from the perspective that they have no creativity. They have no interest in advancing Trinidad to be particularly the downtrodden and the vulnerable. Let's go to the line. Pleasant good night. Again. Pleasant good night.
Yes, sorry, once more again, Mr. Lennox. Sorry, good night again to everybody. Mr. Lennox, listen, you know, last night when I was looking at the Prime Minister, the what is it called, the report, right? The UNC report. You know, Dr. Munila made a startling revelation on energy, and it was concerning Stuart Young, and he was saying how Stuart Young said he make a mistake, right? Who does make mistakes with $6 billion?
Yeah, boy, I heard that. I mean, my mind couldn't contemplate that. My mind couldn't ideate. My mind couldn't rationalize that. So sometimes your brain does cut off when things are too difficult. Well, my brain just disintegrated in that regard. It is just simply mind-boggling. Go ahead, my friend.
What are you telling me? Well, no, actually, I was stupefied because I tried to figure out. I said, well, wait now. How you can make a mistake like that? I said something. I like you just said, it was really mind-boggling, Mr. Lennox, because I don't understand how you can make such a mistake. You're talking about $6 billion, you know?
Yeah, and what it told me, I mean, my mind in that mind-boggling and shut down to, of course, contemplate the fact that they ought not to have been in office in the first place. Rowley perpetrated an egregious, wicked, diabolical, sinful, and of course, wicked con job on the people for their personal aggrandizement and lining their pockets directly and indirectly. That's what that tells me, you know. So you understand my pain and my hatred and my anger against that kind of wickedness, abuse of office
These people and them.
for 10 years. 10 years. Wow. Go ahead, my friend.
These people and them, Mr. Lennox, them is enemy of the state. And I hope, and I'm watching and waiting because I want to see them in silver bracelets and blue lights and silver bracelets, you know. I want to see all of them, you know.
Must.
Them too evil, boy.
It is inevitable.
It's a whole country them destroy, you know.
Yeah.
Them actually leave a country high and dry with no money in a country. Who does do that?
And without a qualm, without any compunction, they then of course impose taxes in order to cover up, or should I say, to carry the country onwards, because they believe they can do that and still stay in office, and then of course punish the population for their iniquities, for their greed, for their avarice. I mean, that in itself is a mind-boggling scenario. Yeah.
Boy, them are the answer, boy. Them are the answer. Them too wicked, boy. Mr. gone.
Yeah. They have the gumption and the temerity to be in our faces.
Oh, God bless.
Yes, my friend. Okay. Yes, indeed. So people, I was going to make the point about the what I want to do on Friday. Now, I want to tell you, and I was making the point as well, that because of the lack of vision, the lack of creativity, the lack of ingenuity, the inability to generate a paradigm shift, and the level of paradigm paralysis that the PNM would have displayed in the 10 years that they were in office, nobody in their conscience or with a conscience could work or could have worked and genuinely, of course, express whatever creativity they would have had with a government like that. They were too damn corrupt. They were too damn self-serving. They were too damn egotistic. They were too damn dogmatic. And they were too damn, of course, narcissistic. Narcissistic. How you? So that is why I made a statement twice that they were in office. I will never work for the PNM, and I will work for free with the UNC because I know Kamala Prasad Bisesa means well, is genuine, and that of course while you may have a little what I consider to be snags here and there, by and large, the UNC as a party, the leadership as an entity means well. And so all the things that we did in 2 months' time, simultaneous and juxtaposing what the government has been doing. Whether we opened, of course, the employment and resource center, whether we facilitate, of course, persons, over 400 of them already, as far as documenting for delivery, having approached, of course, the Ministry of Social Development for food cards to, of course, understand that, of course, while the grass is growing, the horse is starving, and therefore principle, and therefore we have to be able to feed the people, whilst, of course, they are looking for more sustained ways of putting food on the table. Yeah. And while, of course, we celebrated, of course, and still continue to celebrate our 7th anniversary with respect to our micro business incubator and the finance and microfinance initiative. Over 7 businesses that if we did not make the intervention would not have existed. They didn't have to wait on NETCO, they didn't have to wait on SBDC, they didn't have to wait on the Social Development Ministry. We created that out of our own volition and the concern for the community and the understanding that, of course, we are in this boat together, and therefore we must assist each other, and we must therefore be our brother's keeper. You can't say that because nobody in the PNM, whether they are inside of the PNM, whether they are rank and file, whether they are sympathetic to the PNM, they have not been able to do that. And let me go further. These people are so damn destructive because they cannot, of course, deliver and add value to the society. They cannot do anything to add value except to destroy. That is why they are a circle, as I said, of destruction. Imagine when they came into office, the latest victim of that destructive force, having, of course, not being able to, on their own volition, but only when they're in government, come up with these phantasmagorical programs, utilizing state funds. But when people like Gad Christopher, on his own volition, do something in the community and set up, of course, a homework center on his own volition, with his own creativity and his own, of course, attempt at paradigm shift and attitudinal change, they close it down. Why must I give them my service? No, I will work for free under the UNC and the coalition of interest. Let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Hello, good night, Mr. Lennox.
Good night to you, my friend.
I'm calling from Rio Claro, yes.
Yes, man, Rio Claro. Go ahead, Rio Claro.
Well, Mr.
How is the weather down there? First and foremost, how is the weather down there?
Very good, very good.
Very good. Okay. We have a little scattered showers here and here and there, of course, dark clouds. But other than that, we too have it cool and nice. Go ahead.
Yes. Mr. Lennox, you know, somebody said that in the parliament or in your program or something, if the UNC didn't win this election, you know what happened to this country?
Yeah, I have a fair idea. More property tax would have been there, the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority, more electricity for to pay for, more water rate, and we can go on and on. More potholes, and even nature has gone against us, so it may be bigger earthquake than we would have had, more damage by way of hurricane and so on. Even nature went against us under the PNM.
Yeah, but I was thinking what you said there, that UNC will have win 39 seats, but it so happened, well, they win up 13 seats, but here now it was over. They didn't take care of the people in this country, lah.
Yeah. Well, of course, 13 seats suggests that they could end up with none, like in Tobago.
Yeah.
Eventually, yes.
It's better they didn't get none, because man, they really do, people really against them. Then these people, is there a few of them talking and said that's stupid now?
It appears like they on stupidity, but on steroids. They simply are consumed with stupidity.
They like what's going on. Some of the people talking about camera and this, and they like what's going on before.
Yeah, that's their propaganda. That's the stupidity I'm talking about. They are feeding that to their sycophants, the fellas who losing the CPEP contract or being political managers of URP, etc. Those on the grassroots level. It's only them, but any intelligent person with any self-respect and patriotism. We say them, of course, people like Lala and who again? Lala and them fellas and them. They don't want to admit that they were wrong about Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC. So they would hold on to a dribble, but of course eventually that burst.
You know they lost out. Plenty of them lost out.
They offered what?
They lost out, like Anita Haynes and
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because they somehow the PNM was able to convince them. I had to say that now. Rambly, all of them, PNM convinced them. You see, the only thing PNM had for them, why such a person or such persons with such intelligence would gravitate, because they tell themselves that the PNM could thief elections good.
Yes.
It's not a matter of level playing field. They tell themselves that Rowley didn't deserve to be in office in 2015, but he was there, and in 2020 and he was there, even if of course by just 1 seat or 2 seats, 21 they needed, and then act as though he has 26 or 39. Yeah? So them tell themselves that that's what we're. But we the people who know that evil cannot prevail over good, we said to the people, listen, the election victory for the UNC and the coalition of interests must be so grand, must be so big, must be so huge, must be so monolithic that they can't thief. And it's so said, so happened. They couldn't thief this one. And then we had, of course, international observers in this one as well.
Okay, Mr. Mills. Good night and your program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much as well, my friend, for that intervention. Give me an opportunity, of course, to say some things that I would not normally get the chance to say. So yes, indeed, people. So here we have it, a group of persons who has the audacity and the temerity to undermine our democracy and the principle of democracy altogether, doesn't subscribe to free and fair elections. So people like Rambly and Anita Haynes and all of them, they got tied up with that. They don't know that when the people speak loud and with unison, understanding that what is at stake, you think the people, because we had an instance to show how dangerous the PNM is. Remember when, of course, on the campaign trail, the UNC was saying, well, 10% for the public servants. They had the audacity, the temerity, the gall, believing that somehow they could hoodwink and believe that they could get into office unmeritoriously again. Unmeritoriously. By according to them, demonstrating that 10% was too much, and that therefore they will go as far as 5%, and how they will do it, and that therefore that is a better option than 10% for the public servants. That is what they did in the campaign, making you believe that 5% is better than 10%. That is what they're trying to do. Insult our intelligence. Well, of course, we reciprocated by insulting them and getting them the hell out of office. That is what we did. How the hell 5% could be more than 10%? That's what they were trying to tell us. And the buffoon, the nincompoop, the asinine specimen of inhumanity are talking about Young. Like a lamb to the slaughter. Rowley put him in train. Put him, of course, on the production line to turn to wool. To turn to what's the meat of sheep called? Whatever it is. But turn him to food. And he's so stupid, he take it because he's greedy, without thinking. He don't know that Rowley's setting him up. Because remember, Rowley started off at this journey of making his exit. Because we were saying that if he's making his exit now, that he's preparing himself, of course, to go to Venezuela, to live in exile, because the egregiousness and the evil and the criminal conduct that he exhibited while in office, inimical and contrary to the interests of Trinidad and Tobago. The criminal justice system must catch up with him, and he will be hunted down. So what he did instead, try to bring in somebody of his manufacturing, of his creation, of his design, Stuart Young. And Stuart Young, of course, believing that somehow he wasn't handed not a bouquet, but a truckload of poison ivy from Rowley. Rowley stating, listen, the PNM is in the mood of what? Of what? Of transition. And bringing and poach, bringing new faces, poached, of course, UNC people, tell them come in, the stupid UNC people that once was believing that somehow they could thief another election, so let me go to them on the safe side, because Rowley and them conditioned them to believe that. Intelligent people, whilst we on the ground report and on corridor transformation and elsewhere were saying no, as we did in Tobago, and we said that, listen, Rowley could change the amount of seats in Tobago. He could jump high, he could jump low, he could twist and skip, he could go Ghana and get voodoo or whatever necromancy that he believed could come to impact on the outcome of the elections in favor of him. And we said in very simple terms. Whilst, of course, those pollsters were saying that it would be a close finish, we were saying it would have been 15-0. We were saying it was 15-0. We were in Tobago, and we told you, and they're lucky they get one. 14-1. They're lucky they get one. And in Trinidad, we were saying 39. They're lucky they get 13. They're lucky they get 13. I say they're lucky they get 13. And that 13 has to be the evil 13, the cursed 13, because I understand in Playway and in Wayway, 13 is a dangerous thing. I don't play it, so I would not be familiar with the terminology or the designation that 13 is in Playway or in Wayway. But the fact of the matter is that they act cursed, they exhibit cursed mentality, and they're totally out of it. Just imagine they cannot bring themselves to apologize to the people collectively and individually. And if they have any semblance of apology, it is desultory. It is today they may, tomorrow they may not, and they give you it in parts. Demonstrating, of course, how insincere and dishonest they are. So let us not waste time with these people. And Kamala Persad-Bissessar and the UNC and the coalition, I want to say kudos. You know them well. You see, a person who does the same thing over and over, they say that and expect a different result is, of course, the first stage of understanding that they are totally insane. I prefer to say to demonstrate how stupid you are. So therefore, when that happened and they started to apologize one by one, whenever and wherever, we know that they are feeling the pinch, the pain of the wrath of the people. And that is a mere superficial and superfluous expression, nestled in deceit, nestled in lies, nestled in dishonesty. All of them. Imagine at the same time, Penelope Beckles will say that, yes, my father had CPEP contracts. My father, but he did. How does that take away the fact that he ought not to have CPEP contracts? How does that take it away? Because he did? Well, first and foremost, happy riddance. But at the same time, confession is good for the soul. Because, of course, prior to that, she was not sane. When she did not yet get the, or feel the office of political leader, she remained silent, just as Al-Wari and his children. Up to now, he has not said anything that these children, that Rowley says he has not confessed it was his children holding high power guns and ammunition of that nature. He has not said it. But she believes that now that she has to generate a different paradigm, claiming that is a new PNM, and therefore she wants to project the image, the characteristics of someone that is honest. And hear what she say. Yes, my father had contracts with CPEP, but he dead now. You have to be a backside and a half to try to, of course, justify the fact that he ought not to have had these contracts in the first place. And to confess to that demonstrates that you ought not to be a leader at all, whether the PNM or anywhere else. And so it is against that background of deception, I'm telling the population, you are going to get more. And that is why I commend Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the UNC and the coalition for the reintroduction of Monday night forums. They can't take that at all. They must not have any leeway. They must not have any dominance. And the phantasmagorical stories that they tell on a daily basis will, of course, come to your conscience because you would have had the truth. Because you know they say there's three sides to a story. You have the lie. You have, of course, the version of someone else, but then you have the truth. And the truth shall set all of us free. And so the UNC has decided so to do, as we have decided to do on programs like this, and of course on the ground report, etc. Having said that, of course, what's the time now? What's the time now? Let me see what's the time. 9:34. So people, I'm sorry about that, but let me just tell you what's the information I wanted to tell you earlier. Ah boy, final call. I know you're going to miss going right up to 10 o'clock, but energy levels wanes. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
You will get pressure with this thing within half past 90. You know that?
I'll get pressure that past night. I hear you. I realize that. Go ahead.
I hear a woman from Tobago talking tonight, Lennox,
Yeah.
and criticizing the dropping the age of marijuana,
Yeah.
right? And saying that rum more dangerous than marijuana. I wonder if she ever smoke marijuana. And she know what's going on in Colorado. Eh? Marijuana will send you crazy if you over smoke, Lennox.
Yeah, and it is proven scientifically that it makes you lethargic, even though people would try to neutralize that by pretending to suddenly become, have a eureka moment and they suddenly become bright. They say, but while there is no deep research on the matter, I can't see it. If you are lethargic, if you are lazy, where that marijuana gives you that overall disposition as a human being biologically, then how the hell you can perform well in school? I don't understand it in a learning environment. I just don't understand. It's making you lazy, but you are saying that of course it makes you bright. One does not equate with the other.
If you're stupid enough,
Yeah.
marijuana will want all your stupidity.
Yes.
If you're bright, it will reward all your brightness. But as you rightfully say with lethargic.
But it cannot do it. Let's assume it does that, but it cannot do it on a consistent basis. The more you increase the dosage, the more. I mean, it will certainly dull your nerve cells.
But you see, once you legalize it, you're smoking it all day, right?
Yeah.
You see what happens to that people
Look
in
at.
Colorado?
I mean, a typical example is Fitzgerald Hines. I mean, and I could say that blatantly because he told me that while he was, of course, I think either in the police service or one of those institutions, he used to smoke. He used to go in Savannah and smoke marijuana, and then of course he was a frequent visitor to a well-known drug pusher in Never Dirty. That information came to me, and when I investigated, I want to tell him just in case he listening. You know Eric K. Eric K. Yes, Eric K. Hines. Eric K. Yeah. Eric K. Yeah. You used to be inside a day, right? So in other words, that's why I'm saying that is why today he is so damn narcoleptic. He witnessing a parade, a march past, police officers and so on, and he's sleeping. Narcoleptic. Go ahead, my friend.
That guy used to be sleeping on himself in the
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Overdose at that drug. So
Yes.
I can't see how it can make you bright. Because if you have to take Hines as the example, I mean he has a slogan in Laventille. Vote for Hines for better mind. Hear what our army fella converted to. He say, vote for Hines to stay behind.
That backside.
Yeah.
We ain't from him at all.
Yeah, no how we go hear from him. But he behind the scenes quietly, because that's what he does. He probably carrying his clothes to laundry on Bat Street and so on, where some relative of his would be residing. We have a track on them, you know. After they leave, we know of him, but he didn't leave yet, but he would love to leave. I believe he wouldn't stay this 5 years. He wouldn't be able to take the avalanche of disrespect that will come his way, first and foremost. The avalanche of criticisms that he will get. And more importantly, to deal with these neophytes and these nincompoops that form the other 12. I don't think he would take that. He is wishing right now that he would have done like Rowley and get out before, of course, that huge embarrassment descends on him. So Rowley get away from that part of it, but even get away from the criminal accounts that he has to, of course, engage. Blue lights and silver bracelets. Go ahead.
I believe you because There is a bunch of stupid here right now.
Yeah, it must have taken that because you notice he was outside the parliament as well when they were protesting with against whilst Moody was here, the Prime Minister of India, and you notice he was like if he wasn't there at all, and it shows he was on the sideline, suggesting to me that he really didn't want to be there, but because of course he wanted to show team spirit. And he hoping that the camera won't pick him up. I will of course play it tomorrow, so you'll see it because it's important that we see it, and I will focus the clip on him because he was very innocuous and hoping that he could scrunch himself in such a way, reduce himself in such a way that people can't see him.
People can't see him
Because he don't want to be seen with these buffoons, led by. And not led by Penelope Beckers, led by a total, what I consider to be interloper. I'm talking about Scotland, the consummate interloper.
You're ugly, man.
Of course, yes, the fella with the swordfish face. Yes, and ice pick mouth.
Because it was brighter than every one of them who inside there.
Yes.
All of them stupid.
I'm showing you that. Yeah, Imbud can't take that. He can't take that for 5 years. Take quite tell he can't take that. He would remind me, and I'm predicting now, he will remind me of Gordon Draper. Remember, of course, he was elected, but the PNM had lost the election, and whether there was in or out. But anyhow, the team that Manning assembled together around him, with he involved. He preferred, of course, to stay out of the country most of his the period for which he was elected at that time. Gordon Draper, yes, I think Gordon Draper, I believe the man named was.
He must go back out that party,
He will. He had no choice because he's too much of himself. He loves himself too much to take that level of nonsense. Yeah.
He far too intelligent to sit down and watch about stupid people talking crap.
Yeah, I mean, come on. All you even investigate quick, how the government will respond. You just jump and say that you defending contractors and the workers. You bring that to the workers as well. The workers have nothing to do with it. The contractors are political appointees. The people have the evidence. They dismiss them according to the political necessity, or put another way, imperative or convenience, any one of those words. But the fact of the matter is that they know that, and they jump on that hoping that they could incite the people to riot and to protest in tongue, That was the intention, Until, of course, the Love came and called a press conference and tell them as it is, do not, of course, protest over CPEP, because you will be really lured into protesting for Penelope Beckers and they who are trying to avoid, of course, blue lights and silver bracelets on their own. Of course. You have 100,000 persons abandon you, and you still looking to try to see if you could generate a storm, a social storm, a social upheaval with the remainder. You must know that among the remainder, a large portion of which does not support you and will not support you. And Lavante, let me tell you something. Don't be lured. We have enough. We have enough. Yeah, we have enough. We have enough reconciliation to do, to bring back ourselves to the place where we can once again say, this is the place where Carnival was born. This is the place where Steel Band was born. This is the place where mass was created. And we have to bring it back here. So we have enough work. And that those on the western side of Port of Spain, on the avenue and etc., must not laugh all the way to the bank on Ash Wednesday morning. Whilst, of course, we grovel and we, of course, are stymied and trapped in a cycle of poverty. No, we must get the hell out of that. And the time is now, without these vipers at the helm.
I think they're going to end up with 12 of them because
I hear you, my friend.
in much as an intelligent fella,
yeah.
I don't want you to catch me, Dolly, and all them talking crap.
Yeah, only nonsense they're talking and have a kind of body language to suggest a true, as Rowley would say, a definite Jamet type kind of thing. That they're working in this wrongs. You that kind of quality was the Minister of Education. That is what any righteous and rightful and sane thinking individual would have to conclude. How that could be the Minister of Education, and therefore an indictment on the PNM, indictment on Rowley in terms of his selection of individuals to hold significant public office from a political perspective in this country. That is what she's doing, pouring more shame on the PNM.
I want you. I think I tell you this already. She thought I was a teacher, you know.
Well, whether she was a teacher or not, he didn't do a good job. Or if she was as well, because she has some doctor to her name, I am not impressed. I'm not impressed, and nobody should. All right, I have to go. Gosh, you want to take me to 10 o'clock? I'll go resist that. All right, yes, indeed, people. So, of course, as I said, that cycle of destruction that you're seeing in the back of me there is, of course, the ultimate, the culmination of a group of individuals, as Penelope Beckers would say, lost their way, deceived the people, and now she wants, of course, to follow suit as if it's some kind of relay. Some kind of relay of destruction surrounding them. Leave Trinidad and Tobago alone, or they implode, or they destroy all themselves, and leave Trinidad and Tobago alone. And of course, the people of Lavatil, East Port of Spain, etc., or who they believe will follow them to their death knell, to their cesspool, their cesspool grave, being, of course, the greatest threat to our democracy. Well done, Kamala, by, of course, reintroducing the Monday night forum. And I want to say, we who are conscious will certainly follow suit. And as I've said, you're going to see more and more on our own volition without government support. And the PNM could have no response and could not do it even though they had 10 years. In 2 months, without government support, they now come in. So therefore, we are not looking for government support. We already have a register of persons to be employed, and we also have a register of potential employers. And we also have a listing, of course, of persons who would require, of course, while the grass is growing, the horse is starving scenario, to get food cards, etc. But there's more. There's more. We have, of course, celebrating our 7th anniversary with respect, of course, to our what? Our micro business initiative. Some 7 businesses right in the vicinity of East Port of Spain. And there is more. On Friday, we'll be launching, of course, a free internet service. Yes, free internet service concomitant and in support of the expectation that our young people in these parts, and we will do it elsewhere, but we're starting because it is charitable to say that, of course, charity begins at home and ends abroad. We're going to offer free internet service. We're going to put some desks and so on outside, benches and so on. We're going to set up an area where they can come and do their research, etc. We're going to get the devices and we're going to put them there. And of course, the distribution that will come, but only for first formers. So we know that only first formers, it means therefore that second form, third form, etc. will not have. So we have to find and have a mechanism to, of course, deliver to them as well, get and deliver. A serious business cannot afford to make joke. Cannot have a device and don't have internet connection. So we will, at our cost. We get no government appointment. I know minister. I know senator. But what I have is a concern for the people and, of course, the creativity that is required to make these things happen. PNM as a party and boasting all these years have not been able to do that. The UNC in a short space of time, 3 months, 2 months, have been able to do so. And I say so proudly on behalf of the UNC and the coalition of interests. And I know in good time they will come to ask Lennox Smith and, of course, Love and all the other institutions that have come together in order to, of course, make this facility here on George Street happen. They will come and they will ask us how, and we will give them the advice. And so once that becomes a conflagration and mushroom across the country, Charlottesville, the Port of Spain, to Toco, to Icacos, to Guayguayari, and of course on the Central Plains as well. We're going to be positioned and we will be magnanimous, we will be generous, we will have the cadre of individuals to assist, because that is what Trinidad and Tobago wants, self-initiative towards national development and capacity building that would generate the creativity and therefore the diversification of the economy away from oil and gas, or if it comes where we have to do away, we will not, of course, be worse off. We will not suffer as a consequence of the loss of oil and gas and of course, petrochemical or hydrocarbon dependence that our economy has grown over the years to be, but in the future will not be because of global warming, greenhouse gases, and rising sea levels. That is what we know, and therefore we have to prepare for the future. And it will start right here in East Port of Spain. They tell me it can't happen because they told me that MLIO couldn't exist either. And we trained over 4,000 or 6,000 young people between 1984 and about 2000, man. Yes, we did that. And they're all over the place. The police service, the army, the port, of course, and some are abroad. And, of course, the majority of whom I believe would have had their own businesses, because that's the focus. They in turn created jobs. But they must get the motivation, they must get the facilitation, and they must get the know-how. We're going to do it right here. PNM can't do that. The most Scotland could do is a stone's throw away from here, is talk about interlopers. Haul your tail, coal pot man, breadfruit man, and bicycle man. You are a Neanderthal. That is what you are, a caveman. Neanderthal. Long time thing. We are talking about providing internet service for free. You could do that too. You could follow suit, Scotland. But no, you're self-serving. All the money you make from, of course, government brief from the last administration, you could put out a little. It didn't even costing you $50,000. But no, you wouldn't do it. So you believe that the people must grovel to you. Or you believe that we must be subservient, hewers of water and drawers of wood, or hewers of wood and drawers of water, to serve all you. You damn fool. That is why you all are where you all are, and we are in government today. Have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. See you tomorrow morning on the Ground Report. Andy, Mikey, and myself as we continue with these and other programs. And as I end, let me say, I end with, of course, what we began with. And that is, of course, David Rudders. And, of course, his unification song. Very important in these times. And of course, we then go to, oh, should we start with Brother Mudada first? Let's go there.
He came from Calcutta, a stick and a bag on his shoulder. He took banana capra. So I am part seed of India. India, the Indian ship and the slavery bind together two races in unity. There was no more mother Africa, no more mother India, just mother Trini. My Mahuta Japlan with sugar cane, down in the Caroni plain, Ram Logan Bastel Bakashanai, Jahaji Pai, Brotherhood of the Boat, Jahaji Pai, Brotherhood of the Boat, Jahaji
Once upon a time there was a magic island full of magic people. Let me tell you a story about their pain